Owen's job was clear. Keep the Gunjables away by winning in the grimy tents of country towns, by boxing his way to the title Mr. Lewis said was his for the taking, by being the native pride of Rivertown, so authority had no excuse to come hunting down his sisters and him. But if Queensland didn't like its blacks handy, if Queensland lynched them for it, then was he supposed to win this match or not? It was a question gnawing at him when he ducked between the taut, white ropes, still consuming him when the copper's eyes bored into him on his corner stool, warning him away from handiness, and paralysing him until the instant his opponent, a red-haired chunk of a lad, was announced as our own Johnny Corbett. Owen knew then what he had to do to win. Could guess, too, in a general sort of way, what the silver gloves would cost him. He bent and spat into the zinc bucket, his pulse hammering in his neck. Then the lad rose to stand lean and tall and black beneath the blazing lights which multiplied his shadow in 4 directions. All fear evaporated. This was the moment he had been born for, oh yes. His old people hadn't made him into a man for nothing. Owen made sure the newspaper fellow was watching, and swung to face the baying crowd. He whooped loudly and slammed his gloved hands together above his head. "Second round," he called. "I'll lay your Queenslander out in 2. The room howled as Owen turned back to look Johnny Corbett fair in the eye. There was no mystery here. The snake in the room was him, and by Christ, he was ready to strike. Owen survived the retribution that followed his victory. He went home a hero, stunned by the new kinds of violence in the world, and refusing point-blank to satisfy any of Mr. Lewis's questions about his shattered face, his bloodied legs. He had understood early in the night that the price of his life would be silence. And when Owen died, a very old man in a house far away to the south, there were 7 decades of agony caged in him, held down by liquor and a steely pride, and by various acts of bastardry his family could never quite manage to forget. But he had held one thing dear. Since the night the sergeant locked the cell door behind them, laughing with the other white men waiting there, nobody, not his wife, nor his brother, nor any of his descendants, would ever see Owen Addison cry. He had left his tears behind on the cracked cement floor of a Queensland watchhouse. Part 1. Less is Less. Chapter 1. A stranger rode into town, only it wasn't a stranger. It was Kerry, come to say goodbye to Pop before he fell off that perch he'd been clinging to real stubborn way for so long. Cancer, Ken reckoned. Never mind cancer. You couldn't kill the old bastard with an axe. But, no good. The call come last night. Get yourself home. Chop chop. Kerry dropped into second as she cruised past the corner store, clocking the white normal savages. A dozen blue eyeballs popping fair out of their moogle heads at the sight of her. Skinniest dark girl on a shiny new Softail. Heart Attack City, true's God. So, yeah. Let's go for it, eh, you mop? Let's all have a real good dory at the blackfella du jour. Kerry resisted the urge to elevate both middle fingers as she rode past the astounded locals, past the produce store, past Frankie's Mechanical, past the vacant lot with its waist-high weeds hiding a generation's worth of fag ends, torn condom wrappers, and empty bottles, past the landmark pub which hadn't changed in a century and wasn't about to start now, thanks very much all the same. And when Kerry had made it to the other end of Main Street, that was about it for Gerongo. Place of Centrelink fraud, according to Ken. Population, 320. Now, as ever, if you wanted anything more complicated than a beer, a bale of hay, or a loaf of last week's bread from Kath at the General Inconvenience Store, you had to make tracks for Paddo, half an hour up the highway. As Gerongo petered out, Kerry throttled back. She stopped at the T-junction of Main and Mount Monk Road, and straightened first one stiff leg, then the other, letting her toes point skyward in heavy black leather boots. $20,000 of American heritage engineering shifted in her hands as she did. Right boot out, a small tilt to the left boot out, small tilt to the right. Then, in a futile gesture towards flying under the gossip radar for at least the afternoon, Kerry turned the bike off. Silence expanded around her. She flipped her visor up and flinched. Late December bouncing straight up at her off the tar. 11 in the morning and already the road soft beneath her boot heels. Sweat broke out on her forehead as she gazed around the empty intersection.